Hello and welcome to Top Table Gaming. I'm Steve and this is a slightly different video. This is a video I'm going to be talking about the bombshell which was dropped today on the 10th of February 2022. Whilst at work today I checked my phone as I was having a cup of tea, I was having a little break and the internet was going absolutely crazy. Vanity Fair had dropped an article about the Rings of Power, the new Amazon Lord of the Rings TV series, which is eagerly awaited by many of us Middle-earth fans. And boy oh boy, did it not disappoint. There was an absolute flood of new images from the actual series, not like glamour shots of the characters or the armour or the clothing. We already had earlier in the week all the hand shots, which were really cool, and it kept us all guessing and looking at these pictures over and over again and trying to find little details of all these different characters' hands and the things they were holding and the clothes they were wearing and things like that, and that was amazing. But this was something we didn't expect, and yeah, it was really cool. So what I'd like to do is just for a few minutes just talk about the article at Vanity Fair, have a look and a chat about the images, see what we can see in there, and yeah, we can have a discussion about what we hope to see from the series in the future. So the article itself, I'll put a link in the description below if you've not seen the article. It's a good read and it's well worth reading. It's from Vanity Fair and it kicks off, it kind of just hits the ground running. Galadriel's world is a raging sea is the opening line, and it talks about the new actress playing Galadriel, Morfydd Clark, in the new series. She's got big boots to fill to take over from Cate Blanchett and try and represent the high elf which Cate played so well in her earlier years as a younger elf. It gives us a few little, you'd call them spoilers I suppose. It tells us in episode 1 the trials and tribulations that Galadriel is going through. The fact that by episode 2, the next time we see her, she'll be on a raft which is damaged and is in a raging sea, and she'll be on that raft with another character called Halbrand. This is a character that isn't from the literature. This is a character that's been created for the series to add into the story and to help kind of tie different threads of stories and timelines together. So that is really interesting. They've been given quite a lot away. Apparently the people at Vanity Fair have seen the first 3 episodes of the series, which is very cool. So as we're talking about Galadriel in the article, the header picture is of Galadriel in her armour, which I think is really nice picture. The armour itself, if it suits perfectly, it's not too much, it's not too little, it's quite subtle. She doesn't have the dagger which we've seen in the imagery from previous pictures in the week. She has a sword slung over her back, which is quite cool. And yeah, she looks like she's just walking away from a battle. There's fires raging behind her. Blurred out in the background there are some looks like human villagers, so whether she's been protecting some human villagers from an orc invasion or an orc attack or something like that, we're not too sure, but I'm sure we'll find out. But it looks very cool. Another picture that we've got from the article with Galadriel and Halbrand is of them on the raft in the, looks like the studio where they had all the water. It must have been in some kind of pool with cameras on cranes and things like that, and it just looks really good. It looks like a lot's gone into it. The Halbrand character, yes, it's a fictional character. It seems like his and Galadriel's stories are two totally separate stories, but they'll weave together and tie a lot of things up. They do mention in the article that the way they've had to do things in this series, it's kind of spread over 2,000 years, and when they were going from season to season, obviously the human characters that they're putting in there will be dying off, and they'd have to sort of introduce new characters every season that they'd have to waste time sort of introducing you to and getting some background on. So they've condensed it to be around 200 years to keep everything together, which yes, a lot of people are going to be up in arms about, and I understand that, but at the same time they have to do certain things that bring the story together and make it flow in a more natural way. Apparently there was conversations with the Tolkien estate, and they totally agreed also, so I'm not concerned by this, and if it helps with the flow of the story going through the different seasons, then I'm all for it. So these next set of pictures, 3 characters, 2 of which are characters which have been brought to life just for the series, and then also we have during, like it calls him, the writing underneath the image says during the Fourth, which my history of Tolkien isn't up there with a lot of friends of mine and you guys out there who know far more than I do about the literature and the history of Middle-earth. But there's a lot of talk about that they thought it would have been during the Third. But this says during the Fourth, whether that's typo or not, I don't think it would be, but I'm sure we'll find out when the series does kick off. It lets us know that the actor is Owain Arthur. He's the prince of the bustling subterranean realm of Khazad-dûm, and it does also state that we are going to see Khazad-dûm not as the kind of derelict, run-down Khazad-dûm that we've seen or we remember from the movies. This is going to be Khazad-dûm at its height. This is going to be Khazad-dûm filled with people, and it's going to be bustling, and there's going to be music, and we're going to see it in its full glory, which I'm really excited to see. The budget that they've got for this series is like close to $1 billion, or just over $1 billion apparently. So I'm really excited to see what exactly they do, because I've got a feeling there's going to be like no holds barred and they're going to go all out. So the first of the other characters, played by Sophia Nomvet, is the Dwarven Princess Disa. In the image it says that she's standing at Khazad-dûm's entrance. It's not too dissimilar to the kind of architecture that we'd expect. A lot of straight lines, a lot of runes for dwarves, but it's different enough not to look like an exact replica of the movies, The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, that we already know and love from Peter Jackson. So it pays homage, but it doesn't completely copy. So I quite like that. No beard on Princess Nisa, but apparently, again, looking at different forums and things like that, if you zoom in close enough on the image, there is sort of kind of little light sort of showings of hair across the jawline. I couldn't see well enough, and to be honest, it's not gonna deter me. I don't care if I'm totally honest. Like, it is what it is. I think the outfit looks cool. I think she looks really cool as a dwarven princess, and I'd totally buy that, no problem. I wouldn't be sat here saying, well, that can't be a dwarven princess because she hasn't got a beard. This is an adaptation of the workings of Tolkien. It is not a word for word, dotting the I's and crossing the T's exact representation of the workings of Tolkien. So there needs to be some artistic flair granted for this. The next one is the Sylvan Elf Arondir. This character has been created for this series also, and we'll speak a little bit more about him with some of the other pictures and another character which we'll talk about. But I really like this image. I think it's cool. Again, similar to what I was talking about with the Khazad-dûm architecture and Durin's sort of aesthetic. Very, very recognisable as Middle-earth, but not too recognisable, if that makes sense. You could stand him next to a scene in the Lord of the Rings movies with Legolas bouncing around and jumping on steps and defying gravity, and I think he'd fit right in. I think it looks cool. The breastplate, that armour that he wears is awesome. I really, really like that. I know there was a lot of talk with the images when they showed the breastplate on the hand pics about whether that could be an Ents or something like that, and I'm sure more will be revealed when the series kicks off. So I'm looking forward to that. So one of the next pictures is of Elrond, and he's sat out in some beautiful fields, and I can't work out. At the first glance I thought that was a fallen tree kind of blurred out in the background. Could be the makings of a ship, maybe moored up somewhere, not too sure. But yeah, as far as the image goes, great. Looks like you'd expect what Middle-earth would look like in the beautiful parts. Yeah, really, really nice picture. Again, like the costume design, looks great. There was a big hoo-ha about the fact that he's not got dark hair. These are details that are not going to ruin it for me, and I'm sure that it's not just the people on the internet, on the forums, screaming and shouting about it that were aware of this. I'm sure that there were experts, around when they were making this series, and conversations were had, and there may be reasons for it, or they just disregarded it for one reason or another. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna let details like that, for me, ruin the excitement of looking forward to this series. And we get a little bit of background about young Elrond being a politically ambitious elf. I always had Elrond more as a general type figure, kind of military minded. That's the image that I think that was being portrayed in Peter Jackson's Middle-earth movies. But that's not to say that someone else can't come at it from a different stance, or that Elrond's mindset was in a different place when he was in his younger years. Who knows? But yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes, and excited to see that storyline and that story arc progress. Elrond is a fascinating character, always has been, so it's going to be really cool to see exactly what they do with that. Okay, so the next image we see a character called Bronwyn, and it says that she is with her forbidden love, which is Arondir, the wood elf that we've seen previously. This could be a nod to previous storylines that we've seen in the movies. We've seen these different sort of love affairs between races, and it's frowned upon by each other's race, etc., etc. Not a problem with it. I think storylines need to be varied enough. There need to be different things going on. It could be a way of tying two other storylines or two other arcs of the story together, so it's totally fine by me. The good thing about this image, which I really, really like, and it's me kind of nerding out, being a bit of a geek, is the architecture of the... I make terrain for the Middle-earth strategy battle game. I love doing it. I love taking it all in. I'm really into how the architecture for Middle-earth has been theorised and looked upon over the years, and not just the big things, like your Minas Tiriths and your Helm's Deep. I'm really interested in like the normal stuff, like where the houses of like the normal folk would live, and I really like this image. They've done a really good job of making it look worn, very old. Just the pillar that you can see holding up the straw roof on the right hand side of the image. It's got really nice carvings in it, but it's made to look old. It's aged, and they've not only aged it, they've made it lean. They've made it look like it's had a bit of subsidence, which is great, and just nice attention to detail. It could have been really easy just to rough it up and make it look like it was worn, but they've made it look like it's been there for many, many years, and they've done a great job at doing that. Next up, we have Elrond and Galadriel are reunited in the majestic elven kingdom of Lindon. Here we see Galadriel in very elegant gowns, and Elrond in what looks more like formal attire, both in very green and gold, a lot of green and gold going on. Obviously embracing not seeing each other for a long time. Great image. A little hint at elven architecture in the background. We can see a lot of pillars running down either side of each of the characters, but through some of the pillars on the left hand side we can see what looks like the very recognisable pointed elven arches of some kind of building in the background. So that's really interesting, and I'm excited to see what they do with that, if they do kind of stick with Peter Jackson's vision of what elven architecture would have been, because it's really, really spectacular what the Weta Workshop did with all the elven stuff. So it's going to be really cool to see what Amazon do with that too. And then another picture of Bronwyn lets us know that Bronwyn is a single mother and healer, and she's seen here in her apothecary in Middle-earth's Southlands. So I think Bronwyn is going to be a character from areas of Middle-earth that we don't know too much about, and it's going to be really nice to kind of explore those areas and see different things and different imaginings of the things that how many times have we looked at the map of Middle-earth and kind of wondered, I wonder what it looks like in that area, or I wonder what's just, what's past this area, what's there, what have we not seen, and what would we like to see, etc. So that's really interesting. And again, the imagery in this image, it's very, very akin to the vibe that you get when we were in the movies and you were in like Bag End or somewhere like that. It's very, very recognisable without sort of just borrowing too much from that imagery, I think anyway. Do let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Do get involved in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are on the images and what you're excited to see or what you're disappointed by. Please keep it on topic. I'm not really interested in conversations about the race of the actors playing certain characters. That's not what we're here to talk about. If that is your bag, there's plenty of dark places on the internet for you to go and talk about that, and that's your prerogative. That's up to you, but that's not what we do here. So this one was a funny one. This one did spark a lot of conversation, and I've seen a lot of things about why have these guys got wings, etc, etc, etc. The little bit of text underneath the picture, it says, director J.A. Boyana points the way for 2 nomadic hunters wandering the fields of Middle-earth. Now, to me, the first thing that popped into my mind was those look like elk horns to me, and the older hunter on the right-hand side, hanging off his elk horns, if that's what they are, there are some rabbits, and there are some wicker kind of cages. So these are definitely hunters, as it says. And the elk horns, I don't think they're wings, or I don't think they're horns growing out of these humans' backs. I'm assuming they would use these whilst hunting to give off the perception that they are animals themselves, staying very still with these horns, and other creatures would approach them, without caution, and then they'd pounce with the spears. That's the vibe I'm getting. It looks very cool. I like it. And if we see more elks in Middle-earth, I'm all for that. Thranduil's lone elk needs a family. Hashtag family for elks. I think these are cool, and I'm excited to see what they do with that. We then get an image of the 2 directors, McKay and Payne, which I won't show you on here because that's not what you've tuned in for, but it's on the article, do check it out. And there's a bit of talk about how they were chatting about that they're fully aware of what they've got to live up to, and they're huge Middle-earth fans themselves. And when they're talking to each other, they have kind of little sayings to each other that relate to Middle-earth, and it's nice to know that this is in the hands of fans of Middle-earth. And I think we've all got to remember that just because we're all fans of Middle-earth doesn't mean that we all have the exact same image of what Middle-earth is and how Middle-earth feels and how it looks. And I'm kind of going into this with an open mind. I would rather have more Middle-earth content to consume than not have it. I'm fully aware I may eat my hat. This might get released. I might look at it and it might not be for me. I really might be put off by it. But I don't think so. Everything I've seen up to this point, the detail that they're going into with everything, is just reinforcing my excitement. So yeah, I'm going into this with an open mind and really excited to see what these guys can do, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Prove me wrong, but I doubt that they will. I think even if this is not like top notch, I'm still going to really, really enjoy it. It's more time in Middle-earth, like I say, and I for one definitely want that. Here we see Charlie Vickers, the actor, as Halbrand. It says a new character who is a fugitive from his own past. So we don't know what he's running away from or what storyline they give him. Obviously we're not aware of that, but we know that he interacts with Galadriel at some point. He's on that raft. He's going to end up in Middle-earth. What is he running away from? Is he got a bit of history with Numenor? We're not too sure, but it would be cool to see. He is what looks like one of the sort of more main characters, so he's going to have a pretty decent storyline, and it's going to be something that they can embellish because it's not from the books. So that's going to be cool to see, and I quite like the fact that they're able to do something that they have a little bit more artistic flair to work with as well, because that means that they can let loose all the things they want to do with a character, that it's not going to ruin it for someone by giving a well-known character from the literature a storyline that fans don't think would fit with that character, or that's not the sort of thing that they think that character would do. This is a whole new character. They can do whatever they want with it pretty much, and they're just slotting him into the storylines to help kind of feed things together and make things work. So it's all good. I'm happy with that, and yeah, if it makes it an easier watch and it entices more people to get into Middle-earth, then it's a big thumbs up from me. So that was all the images in the article. I'm not going to read the article word for word. I'll let you guys enjoy it and soak that up at your own pace. Again, like I say, I'll put the link below. I do highly recommend that you read the article. It's interesting. There's more talk about the production of the series and how it was affected by COVID, etc. More than the storylines, which is great. We don't want too much given away. They have also said, because a lot of people have said online about, oh, it just looks exactly like Game of Thrones. Yeah, it's Game of Thrones. It's Game of Thrones. It doesn't look anything like Game of Thrones to me. If you mean it's set in a fantasy style with people in armor and there's bows and arrows and swords and peasants, then yeah, it looks like Game of Thrones. But it doesn't look like that at all to me. They actually say in the article that they are fully aware of Game of Thrones, and that this is not it. They want to create something that people of all ages can enjoy. People from like 10 years old, 11 years old can enjoy it. So we don't have to worry about the fact that there was a nudity director or something on set at one stage. It's crazy, but yeah, I think it's in good hands. I'm excited by it. I'm really looking forward to it. One of the big things that I'm looking forward to this week is it's Super Bowl weekend this week. Not that I'm a Super Bowl fan. I couldn't even tell you who was playing. But it has been almost definitely confirmed that we are going to get an actual action trailer during the Super Bowl. So I'm sure the Super Bowl, I'm here in the UK, so the Super Bowl's on like midnight here. Or starts at midnight, so God knows what time the trailer will be on. I will not be watching it live, but I will be watching it as soon as I get up on Monday morning. And I'm hoping to get a video out, so please do join me in a semi-live reaction to the live trailer, because that would be awesome. I'm really excited to see it. I hope you guys are excited as I am. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and don't worry, I'm not bashing you down if your opinions are not the same as mine. That's not what I'm doing. But what I would like to do is keep this inclusive. Everybody is welcome to comment, and comments on subjects that are not fair and not right, and you know what them comments are. I don't need to point them out or underline them. You know what they are. I would rather not have them in the comments, but I would love to hear your opinions on everything else. That would be fantastic. And if videos like this are the kind of thing that you want to see, especially with the series coming up, with trailers, etc., going to be dropped left, right and centre, I would love to do more of them. I would love to do one for each episode of the series, but I'll do them if the need is there and people want to see them and get involved. That would be great. I may even do a live stream after each episode. Who knows? Let's see how these go. But do let me know in the comments, and share the video with anyone that you think would be interested in hearing me waffle on about Middle Earth. But thank you guys for joining me. Please do check out all the links below to help us out at the channel. That would be fantastic, and I will see you in the next video soon. Take care, people.